I want to get you into something that's happening currently on the grounds, literally on the ground, in La. Let's go to, there's a story, a couple of stories actually. One we have on ChannelOneNews.com. We also have CityNewsroom.com. You want to take us into
Right. Let me start with the one on CityNewsroom.com. La youth to demonstrate against looted lands today. The coalition of La associations and the Gadangbe coalition against land injustice will begin a series of demonstrations on Tuesday, July 30, against what they view as the unethical seizure of lands by political entities in the Greater Accra region. The group is particularly focused on the Trade Fair land, which encompasses area occupied by Labadi Beach and La Palm Royal Beach hotels. They alleged that the original owners have not received the legally required compensation. Additionally, they have raised concerns about the prison service lands at cantonments, where a private developer plans to redevelop the facilities and use part of the land for private business. Meanwhile, the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament is scheduled to visit the Ghana Prison Service barracks at cantonments and the Ghana Prison Service land at Roman Ridge in Accra on Tuesday to address the concerns raised by the youth group.
Yeah, so it continues on here and it says, let me take you, okay, so let's just look at the, let's go to our correspondent, Fred Duho, who is going to give us an update as to what is happening on the ground. Fred, good morning.
Good morning, Quickly David.
Yes, so welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
So where are you exactly at the moment and what's happening? What can you tell us from there?
Quickly, I'm currently at the La Market, that is within the La traditional area. And this particular location is more of a hub within the La traditional area. And it's a market square, so I mean the numbers are expected of women and men alike, basically going about market businesses. This morning, there are a group of youth associations gathered here within the market, and this is their converging point at the moment, where they are expected to move all the way to the Labadi Beach Hotel, the La Palm Hotel, and then proceed all the way to the Church of Christ area, and then terminate their protest at the Plateau area, which is around the Bema camp. This is basically to register their displeasure about what they allege is the distribution of estate lands that was taken from the people of La for the use of the state. But the state and authorities, they are currently distributing state land to the political class, and they are not happy about it. They are calling on the government to release those lands back to the traditional council so that they can make do with it. And the fact that this is taking long is why they want to really protest this morning and to call on the president to release those lands to them. Now, from the onset, when we gathered here, there was a bit of confusion between the protesters, organizers specifically, and the police. They were arguing about the route to use for this protest. According to the police, the information given them is not what the organizers want to do this morning. So they are not going to allow them. And even if they will allow them to proceed, they can't guarantee their security if they want to terminate their protest closer to the military property. And that any attempt to go to that extent, they as a police administration will not be part of it. It took a bit of dialogue over the period to now come into a consensus where they are now beginning the protest. So as we speak, they are about to leave the La Market, and they are keeping each member of the protest in line to commence this particular demonstration this morning.
Now, can you sort of paint a picture for us in terms of numbers? What are we looking at? How many people are likely to be involved in the demonstration, at least from the start?
If what I see in terms of numbers gathered at the La Market this morning is anything to go by, I can say that the police presence far outweigh the numbers of the demonstrators. A number of policemen have been deployed to this particular location to provide security guidance and to also ensure that there is free flow of traffic, because the route that the people are going to use is quite a long one. It's quite a distance. So they want to give them all the necessary protection, as well as ensuring that other motoring public would not be affected by the demonstration. So the police numbers I see here is far more than 100. And the protesters, I can say, they are also gathering. From time you see them equally come together, and the numbers are building up gradually.
Okay. All right, Fred. Thank you very much for the update. We will stay in touch with you and stay safe out there. Thank you. All right, so that was our colleague and correspondent bringing us an update from La. He is at the La market, and the demonstrators are getting ready for this demonstration. Let me just read a portion of what we have here on ChannelOneNews.com. It says here, Jeffrey Tete, a spokesperson for the coalition of La associations, criticized the treatment of the La indigents, stating that many lands have been sold to politicians and developers under a government redevelopment scheme, disadvantaging pre-acquisition landowners. He urged all private developers working on these lands to halt their activities immediately while the traditional authorities engage with the government. Tete also called for equal respect for traditional leaders from the Greater Accra region and warned that the injustice faced by the La and Gadangbe communities could set a dangerous precedent for other regions. And I quote, "We are by this media briefing asking all private developers who have started or intend to start some works on these lands to, as a matter of urgency, halt while the traditional authorities engage the government on the matter. We also call on the government to treat our chiefs with the same level of respect it accords traditional leaders from other parts of the country. It is time for every king, chief, and queen and all other traditional leaders to rally support for the La and Gadangbe people in this national fight against land injustice, to avert possible replication of the same in other places when the lands in Accra have been completely dissipated. It is us today, and if you don't support our cry now, it will be in your jurisdiction tomorrow," he stated. Okay, so very interesting times.
Yeah.
I think that this is a situation that calls for swift negotiations.
Yeah.
All authorities that are involved should sit at the table and talk, right? Because from what it's saying, this is not going to be this is just the beginning.
Yeah, it might have ripple effects.
Yes.
Yeah, to other
Yes.
parts.
It's definitely going to continue because once they spark this flame, the demonstration is today. They say they want to petition the president directly, because I heard on the 6 a.m. news today that it's not just submitting a petition to a minister. No, they want to go straight to the president because they feel that this is something that has to be addressed from his level, you know. And so we were watching the space for sure. We're definitely going to be watching the space. And, you know, I just want to ask also that respect is what most people require at the end of the day. You know, there was a time when we had a conversation on the question of law, talking about the land ownership in Ghana. And, you know, there are stool lands, there are family lands, there are government lands, there are, you know, and under government lands we have other kinds of lands. So they have military lands and all of those kinds of things. And I think that we haven't done enough to clearly, you know, demarcate
Yeah,
and
to
delineate
demarcate, exactly.
who's this where.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole feeling also by a lot of traditional people
That we
government,
own, yeah.
no, they own. That's what the ownership they do. But then government takes and says we will compensate. And then sometimes you're wondering, because we have the same situation in Buankra, you know, the inland port that they were building. People are complaining that they haven't received, you know, the compensation that they were promised and all of that. Anyway.